Good morning, John with Off-Grid Homesteading. Okay, so here's a follow-up video to our DIY septic system. And anyway, we have about a 300-gallon, 330-gallon tank here in an unrestricted area where you basically do whatever you want. But what I was trying to say is we did not get our lateral lines and stuff put in here before winter. So and then we've decided to make our building spot is actually going to be further over that direction. And then from what we've learned about human manure and things like that, you can actually use your lateral lines to head towards your garden, which helps to keep everything, get all the nutrients and things back into the garden area from just absorption through the ground area. So anyway, long story short, we got the tank up to the point where it was pretty much right to the top, and the challenge was it was starting to smell inside because there was no place for the gases and stuff to vent and so on. So anyway, my dilemma was let's just call a septic company and just have them come out and pump it. Well, the minimum charge to pump a septic tank is, you know, from what we've seen around in this vicinity, is about $300 for a 1,000-gallon tank. $300 minimum. So that's really expensive. It's 3 times as expensive on a small tank than it is a big one. So I was just sitting here dreaming about this. Matter of fact, I was just trying to figure out how the heck do I get the liquid and stuff out, and eventually we'll have to, this will be taken apart, and we're going to have a different septic tank and stuff on the other side that has a larger opening, and you can get a normal septic service and stuff to come. But we'll increase that to probably 1,000 gallons in that kind of range at that point, so it makes it worthwhile, and we can go longer, you know, maybe 2 or 3 years without having to do it. But anyway, here's what I had to do to get this tank pumped out, and I'll show you the setup of what I kind of figured out with the parts I had laying around here. You can probably do it a little bit better with you know, like a 1/2 inch to 3/4 PEX adapter. I didn't have that, so it's going to look a little bit ghetto, or should I say innovative, for out in the country. But yeah, I just want to use the parts that I had here to get this thing done. So here you go, let me show you. Alright, so there's our tank. Here's an electric line running to our trailer that is set up to batteries and solar back there. So I was reading online, and it said, you know, a decent way to pump out some of the stuff is by using a diaphragm pump. So this is my old water pump that I had down on the lower cistern, and I use this for, basically I'm using it as a transfer pump, and it's basically 120 volt, 3 gallons per minute, 3 gallon per minute flow. And so what I did is I basically just took a garden hose on, oh no, actually that was a car hose I got from the auto store for, you know, about $4 or $5, and then I connected it to, looks like a 1/2 inch brass connector with a 1/2 inch nipple coming out, and then I just put a clamp on it. And then at the same time, on the other side, had another 1/2 inch to PEX adapter coming off that, and PEX that came up to a 1/2 inch to 3/4 PEX adapter. Now ideally you want to put a right angle in here, or, you know, have it straight, so that there's less friction or turns it's got to push past. But anyway, that's all I had. So on this end, that was my old gate screw that I ended up not using. So I did my best to screw that in. However, because it is a screw, it leaks a little bit. So what I did is I basically just took a screw, put it directly over the hole, so any leaks and stuff go right back in the tank, so it's not a big deal. And then we're coming out here into, so you got your 1/2" to 3/4 PEX adapter, you got 3/4 inch PEX, 3/4 inch PEX to garden hose adapter, and then here's your garden hose. And then the garden hose is running as far away. I think this is probably a 100-footer. So basically we're taking this and running it as far away from the house as possible onto the contour of the land so that it will actually percolate that direction and away. And let's see, if I look down here, where'd the hose go? There it is. So I can't focus past those leaves, unfortunately. Let me see if I can do it. Nope, still can't do it. But anyway, you can see it pumping out over there. I don't smell anything at all. That's just, I guess, the liquid portion of everything. But you know, as majority of your wastewater and stuff is liquid, or everything converts back into a liquid sludge, but it's predominantly all liquid. So let's walk back over here and see how it's doing. So I started this probably about 10 minutes ago, maybe 15 minutes ago, and you can actually, let me go zoom in. So it was pretty much right at the top of the tank. Now it looks like we're, it's kind of hard to tell from the side of the tank. But that was our line. There's a little sludge line across the top, but it was over our exit hose. And on top of it, the tank got collapsed as well on some of the heavy rains we had. So we got some great suggestions on how to redo this for next time, but we're going to be using a different tank system. If I were to redo this, a gentleman said that he put concrete backer board and basically screwed it in to all four corners and then backfilled around it with gravel so that any liquid and stuff comes in, it percolates out and not pushes in. And that probably would have saved this tank from being collapsed. But actually it collapsed, or got pushed in, as you can probably see from here. But it did not puncture the tank. It just reduced our capacity somewhat. So, and it actually did it on this side. Down here you can see it pushed our exit port kind of diagonally down as it was being pushed in, like so. And but right now it's doing good. I'm excited that we can poo again. I was holding my shit for another day. I'm just kidding. My wife says I'm full of shit, and as a Indian, we shit 3 times as much as a regular human. So she's very, I'm sure when she gets up, she'll be very glad to know that the cheap, frugal Indian has figured out a way to pump our poo water away from the house so that it doesn't smell and percolates back into the ground and kind of gives everything back to nature again. So it's basically the same as the lateral line. The difference is it's a manual pumping system. So just imagine this is an underground tank or whatever. You just have to use like a macerating pump or just a regular pump. But this is a diaphragm pump. I'll see if I can find the information on the pump when it's all done, and maybe put a label of the pump on the front. But it's just basically a SureFlow 120 volt 3 gallon per minute diaphragm pump. So doing great, and I hope that helps you out on your project. Thumbs up if you like the channel, and tell people about it, subscribe, and look forward to seeing you in the next show. Bye.